My grandmother made everything. And in my school, there was CI, like corporate identity, but like for school, for even panties. You couldn't be out to rocking up. Mayfair Convent, our school uniform was blue, yellow, navy blue, powder blue, and dark blue, black. Ain't nobody out here in these streets be accommodating red panties or pink panties, or we had to wear either white or blue, but white or powder blue panties. No other color was allowed, maybe black, but you couldn't rock up with like a neon green panty. And it when you play Mugusha and it gets seen, you could actually get detention for that. Like, too close for comfort, why are you checking my panties? Anyway, whatever. There was corporate identity for panties at school. We could only wear a certain color panty, and my grandmother used to make our panties too, because we had to have, of course, one every single day. And for us to keep on having to go to Woolies and buy new panties, too extreme, too much, too expensive. So we had homemade bungas. That's how industrious my grandmother was, and I wanted that. My mom could sew. I did not know how to sew, except for that one bag I made in home economics in grade 8. So I was gonna buy a sewing machine, learn how to sew so I could make my own garments, especially considering I'm also quite fashion savvy, and to be fashion savvy can be quite expensive unless you make your own stuff. I wanted to make my own clothes, maybe even start a clothing line. So I was gonna go to sewing school. All right. I certainly wanted to learn as well how to bake, and I of course wanted to know how to plant stuff, like, garden. Like, yeah, my mom is skilled. My mom is skilled at planting rose beds. We spent a whole chunk of our youth on weekends going to nurseries to go and buy plants of different kinds, ferns and whatnot, and then they would get planted at home by my mom with just the mere help of a gardener. All he did was just kind of do the heavy duty lifting, but the design and everything was all my mom. All that stuff, I was like, it's in my genes. I'm going to hone in on it. So seeing as I'm out here just gathering dust in the house, they fired me, or they have suspended me pending an investigation, like whatever happened at MTN. Okay, I was like, I can't die, right? So, and I can't plant, seeing as I don't live on a property where I can actually plant plants, because I was on the uppermost floor. I was on the second floor of that particular sectional title, so I did not have a garden. I can't. Whatever I couldn't do, and of course I couldn't sew, because then I would have to actually look for a sewing school. At that time, I had a colleague at MTN, and the two of us were deeply considering registering for some sewing academy. We had pamphlets and everything. We were planning on registering, but I was apprehensive because I had part-time school, and even though this particular academy was on one day of the week that was not the days of the week where I went to school, for me it was like I really cherish the days when I don't have to drive to school after work. So I did not go, but I did have a colleague with whom the two of us, another woman, we were deeply considering after work, trekking to some sewing academy to learn how to sew. I wanted to do all that stuff because I was now a godly woman, and I wanted to be the all-rounder perfect wife. I wanted to be a trad wife. Do you understand? Yeah, whatever, cool beans and bananas. So I couldn't go to a sewing academy. I ain't got no money. I'm on uncertain waters concerning my career, so let's do what we can do for now. So then I went and I taught myself baking on YouTube. Watched a tutorial, and the first ever cookie or baked good that I made was chocolate. It was a chocolate cake and chocolate muffins. I bought everything from scratch, like trays to make them, oven trays, little cupcake holders. I bought icing, frosting, everything from scratch. And I was out here baking, and I was scared that it's gonna come out looking like a rock. However, I listened on YouTube. This time I was serious. I was very serious. I listened. I remembered that lady told me no more than 150 degrees Celsius, no more than 25 minutes, no more this, no more that. Make sure you don't open blah, blah, blah. And just by listening to this lady chica, a couple of lady chicas and dudes baking on their channels on YouTube, I then went home and experimented, and Voila! Heavenly baked goods came out of that. Heavenly baked goods came out of that. I baked my first ever chocolate chip chocolate cake right next to chocolate chip cupcakes because there was a lot of dough. I did not measure precisely, and I gave a whole bunch of those cookies to a student at Wits that was struggling, that I chatted with about the things of God a whole bunch to the security guards, and then a whole bunch of them to myself. And that, well, I ate some, of course, because I kept them for myself, but I had to give away quite a lot. I then started to bake and bake and bake and give away and give away and give away, bake and bake and give away and give away, right? Just to teach myself. And my baked goods, of course, I thought they were excellent. The guy from school, the kid that I used to give the baked goods to, was always like, oh, they're so delicious. I was so hungry. Thank you. He loved them. But I was like, maybe this kid is tooting my horn because he doesn't want to say no or whatever, or he doesn't want to like hurt me or whatever. I'm not really sure. Security guards were always like, yeah, no, thank you, ma, thank you, sissy, thank you. But they're always gonna say thank you and then like vomit them in the dustbin the next week. So I didn't really know how my baked goods be treating some people. I wasn't sure about my skill and my craft, but I basically sharpened it thanks to that underground season waiting for MTN to fire me. And in that time, I baked carrot cake. My ex-boyfriend's favorite cake was a carrot cake, so I made it a mission to know how to make that. For what purpose, I don't know. Seeing as we were broken up, I learned how to bake carrot cake moist. I taught myself how to make chocolate cake. I was on a mission to make my first ever cheesecake, but life hit quite the curveball, and cheesecake is expensive to make because of creamed cheese. So I didn't quite get around to doing it, but the recipe is sitting here in my mind. I tested my first ever puff pastry, and I got it right. I got it right. Y'all know how hard it is to make puff pastry, or complex. Let's just say complex. Let's not say hard. It's tough, it's tricky. You have to fold stuff, put it in the refrigerator, get a certain kind of butter, the butter of which can sometimes be very expensive. Yeah, first time I ever experimented with puff pastry, it came out. And I made these little, blueberry jam stuffed cutie pies, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so I can make puff pastry, and it was because of these endeavors in teaching myself how to bake that I then developed a love for baking, to a point of wanting to do a pastry channel on YouTube. Yeah, I wanted to do a pastry channel on YouTube. I did not know, however, if my baking skills were any good until many moons down the line, as in like a whole year down the line. I had to move back home to my mother's house because I lost everything. That's like a long story very short. And when I moved back home, once I got money from my pension, I would then buy stuff like baked goods, like flour, whatnot, and I baked at home for my family. My mom made me stop because she was my mom, okay, claiming that it's about electricity and I'm washing her electricity bill, whatever. But before she got to the point of telling me don't bake in my kitchen, my little sister, who at the time was still in primary school, was like, what? And she would take them to school, and her friends would be like, oh my goodness, send me more, bring me more, I want more baked goodies. It was at that stage of me being back home that I realized that I baked some pretty awesome baked goods, okay, because my little sister raved about them and her friends from school. I had a cousin that always used to visit my little sister, so my little sister's little best friend cousin boy was also raving about them. He especially loved the little peanut biscuits that I used to make and whatnot. So that was when I realized that, hey, I got a skill here. I can actually bake. I can kill it. And I was all nuanced in how it is that I would make my baked goods very well. I then moved to go and live by myself using pension money for a year. It was a whole thing. Long story short, blah, blah, blah. But when I was living in the new complex where I was staying, baking got me through the day. Because I ran out of money. I thought I was going to get a job. I didn't get a job. And because of my baking skills, I didn't go hungry. Instead of buying bread, I used to basically make my own starch edibles and stuff like that. I survived on flour because I taught myself how to maneuver my hands around flour to make it go a long way so I don't have to buy a whole loaf of bread. I got hungry and my skills came in handy. That's what I went through. But then I ended up moving back home. A whole bunch of other nonsense happened. I don't want to talk about it because it's triggering. Water, fish face, etc. But I ended up living Go Cosmo City. And Go Cosmo City, now I had children. Like a whole bunch of children. And these kids, I baked for them. And I ended up making a birthday cake. Say two birthday cakes for this one lady who paid me. She paid me to make these 2 birthday cakes because her teenage daughter was having a little establishment thing, and rather than go to Spar or Woolies to go and buy a cake, she was like, Miss Honey can bake and she kills it better than Spar and Woolies. Give her that money and let her bake that cake because she can slay. I was like, oh, look at my little kids think that I'm better than Woolworths. Yeah, okay, so when that mama of those 2 kids, like the other one was like a 6-year-old boy, and then the other daughter was like about 13, 14, the one whose birthday it was, when the mama basically gave me an order to bake for the other 14-year-old girl, the 13, 14-year-old girl, I was like, okay, look, I got something going down here, like I'm really good. So I wanted to start a pastry channel on YouTube. But I mean, you know, you guys, you blocked me and everything. But my baking for the kids at Cosmo City, I did it for free. I did not do it for money. The mother insisted on paying me. I would have done it for free. I did it because I loved it. It was my new craft. It was something I established because I had nothing else to do with myself. I started a hobby and it became beneficial in very many respects. It also became a craft I honed in on. I sharpened until it was profitable. Just like that Proverbs 31 lady, it is written of her that she sees that her merchandise is profitable. You can go and read Proverbs 31, okay? So when then I realized this about myself, and when I was busy watching all of those tutorials on YouTube as to how to bake this, bake that, make this and the other, I saw that cooking channels kill it in terms of views. People, like, they be out here running into the millions of views, all right? And even the videos that I would do where I'm showing people making a roti, showing people making a wrap, either culinary or pastry, they would get more views than the other channels where it's just a talking head, me speaking about the gospel and what have you. I realized that people have a big interest in food, right? I mean, we need it every day, we eat it. So I saw that my merchandise was profitable, and I had a plan to one day when I get a kitchen, one day when I have my own apartment, I am going to invest in a cooking channel, especially focusing in particular on pastry. I mean, did you not just block that? Anyway, whatever. Do you whatever. You did what you wanted to do, but in this season I've out here acquired some skills for a sister. Go Cosmo City, in that era, in that season, right? When I was busy baking for them kids, among the baked goods that was sort of kind of hanging around, I then of course gave this Nigerian guy on some, dude, I baked here. Okay? I baked here some cookie, oh brother. He's like, thanks, Karabo, I appreciate. Eats cookies out here, stuffing himself with some tea. And then he comes back a week later, hangs out again with the sister girl, and is like, what I do? I think I had baked some new cookies, and he was like, Karabo, Are there any more cookies here? Did you bake today? Is there anything here to eat, to nibble on? I was like, nah, dude, the cookies are all done for. They're finished. The children depleted them to the nth degree. And he was like, oh, snappy Joe, that's unfortunate. Because yesterday, I went to this other chick's place. We were all hanging out there, partying. Busy with the party, I get but whatever. He was hanging out with a whole bunch of people, and this one chick rocked up, got his scone on like a tray on some, here guys, I made some scones, eat and be merry. Yeah, and then he was out there like nibbling on them, and then he was like, I told that chick that thank you for these scones, but I know someone that can kill you on them. They're kind of dry. And I was like, thanks for letting me know. Not that I'm proud of being better than some other person, but essentially that dude was like, I never tasted no little fluffy cookie ball the way that your cookie balls are. You can really kill it. That dude was a nonsense of a human being. But I ran with that compliment. Do you understand? Why were my cookies ever so different? I knew how to make proper... Oh, mind you, the cookie that I made for the cakes that I made for the kid, the 14-year-old, it was a multi-layered red and a blue and chocolate, right? It was a multi-layered red velvet, blue velvet, and chocolate cake with cream cheese frosting. And then the other one was a general vanilla, but with some like multicolored, like I can't say it was Astros or Smarties in the center or whatever. I made 2 cookies, and not cookies but cakes for her. And yo, I'm actually gonna give you the words that she used. I'm gonna give you the words that she used. She was so sweet. She was like, yo, Miss Honey, the cake that you made, Itella. The word that she used was Uktella. I was like, oh, thank you. She took it to school and she came back and she was like, yo, Miss Honey, Itella. Tella means to slide. Like when you go down a slippery slope at the water park. She said that my cookie goes down the throat the way that a person going down a water like slide goes down. You just slide down. Yeah, Tella. Anyway, yeah, she said that my cake, yeah, Tella, my cakes, Diatella, and her fellow students in class happened to agree. So yeah, that's what's good. Yeah, I came to learn that me, I'm a baker. I got this right. All I need to do is just hone in on the skill, improve, and I got a YouTube channel running. I knew that it was not going to do anything for me to start a bakery or even sell cookies on the side of the street. I was not trying to do that. I was gunning for a YouTube pastry channel. And the stuff that I would bake therein, I would then go out there on the street and give them away. Or I would, I would give them to security guards and what have you, because then I couldn't consume it all, right? Because I didn't have anybody, I didn't have family, didn't have husband, children to take it to school on a bake sale day or whatever. But I was going to bake them in my apartment, post the content on YouTube, kill it in my views, make money that way, and then give the baked goods to next door neighbors or whatever. That was the plan. It was one of the things I wanted to do. There were many other things I wanted to do, like fitness, many other things that I wanted to do, like design clothes, many other things. Yeah, but you know, people all up in my grill came in my way. Long story short, you don't get to grab a person that is talented, that is intelligent, an individual that is extremely creative, that has got dormant powers, essentially, just kind of chilling in them, and expect God not to unpack them like a suitcase, moving it out from a suitcase and onto shelves. When you grab his child and put them just sitting around doing nothing in unemployment, you don't know what God has done. You don't know what God has jam-packed in a person. And when then you go and you rip a career from underneath the feet of a human being and expect them to just sit around gathering dust, that's when creative talents tend to come out. A lot of people tend to ignore creative talents because they're told, go be an accountant, it's going to be stable for you, it's going to make you money, and it's going to pay for your lobola payments for your wife. But if you go and grab the same accounting student and you impoverish them, or you make sure they drop out of varsity, the guy is going to whip out his guitar or his painting wand or whatever, and what's going to come out is going to shock everybody, because people will tend to not have known that about them, and they also will tend to not have known that about themselves also, in the sense that it was dormant powers, it was dormant talent that they did not see it fit to cultivate, because I'm busy with all this textbook, I'm busy with all these minutes of the meeting, and it literally takes up 8 hours of my day. By the time I get home, I'm a zombie. All I can do is just recline my chair, sleep, scroll through channels on TV, all work and no play. Makes Jack a dull boy. I can't just start painting when I get back home from work, especially considering I don't know that I can. But take the same Jomo and say, "You are fired!" Jomo could die. Just actually feel sorry for himself and drown himself in a bottle. Or he can buy a bunch of paint. There are so many things that I did because of sitting at home, that if I was enabled to recover, I would have continued to do them and likely made them very lucrative. But I get you're full of blockage. Among the things that I did was buy paint. I went to Builder's Warehouse, I bought a canvas, I bought paints, and I just started to paint. YouTube, I've got old content that I privatized. But it's still on there. If I made it public, it would be hanging out like a bear. Okay? There for your perusal. Maybe one day when I'm not so sorrowful to scroll down all of my channel, I might make it public for all to see my apartments where I used to stay. Something like 80 to 90%. No, in fact, not even 80. What are you talking about? About 100%. Not even 80 to 90%. No, let me say 80 to 90. No. Let me say 80 to 90%, because there were some small little odd pieces that I did buy from like at home and what have you. But every canvas that was chilling on my wall, however big it was, I painted it. I painted. There was this, I had a painting in my bedroom that I did, and I also had a painting on the passaging in the lounge, the passage that conjoined the bedrooms and the lounge and everything. And my landlord once came to check on a snag. There was like a problem of leakage in the corner of the house, because that was just Baldwin property for you. It falls apart even though it's new. So when my landlord came, first time he met me, frankly, he was coming to go check that leak. Go. Hi, Karabo, how are you? Hi, landlord, how are you doing? Nice to meet you finally. It was the first time I met him. Everything that I did was through the real estate agent. So this was the first time I actually saw the man. Good. No, the snag is over there. The leak is over there in the corner. Walked into the apartment. Is like, wow, what a wonderful, lovely place. What a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. He sang Louis Armstrong's song. Could not stop singing praises about how I decorated his house. Yeah. And then looked at my paintings in the lounge area and was like, whoa, these are beautiful. Where did you buy them? And I was like, oh, thank you very much. But I did them myself. I painted them. Mio personal. And he was like, shoo, you've got talent. You should consider selling. I was like, I'll take that under advisement. How's about that leak? Yeah. That was the landlord. And then the exiting real estate agent, the guy basically that was showing the property to other people. There was no one that actually came to view. God gave me that leg room, right? No one came to view the property. But the real estate agent had to come and just basically check the place out so that he could take photos to put on his little profile thingamabobby, and also, I guess, have access to me and whatnot. He came and he was like, hi, Karabo, nice to meet you. Such a cute dude. He was so fly. Like, yo, this one, yo, mega mutle. That guy is a white dude. Ooh. Anyway, whatever. engaged to be married, but it didn't matter because I didn't even know if he was a Christian or what, but it just had to highlight that he was just so good looking. Anyway, whatever. So the real estate agent Okie that I was out here spazzing over, rocks up, kind, sweet oak, total decent guy. And it's like, hey, Krabs, how you doing? No, great, whatnot, what have you, what a fish paste. Wow, wonderful apartment. You, this is such a beautiful apartment. It's a pity. Where are you moving to? I'm like, oh, you know, life happens. I'm going back home, starting again, you know. Life is like, oh, well, that sucks. Anyway, great place. Your paintings are stunning. Where did you get them? I did them. Really? No, get out! He was 5 seconds away from punching me, the way he was so in shock and disbelief, getting out of his skin, jumping and everything. I was like, relax, calm down, do you need a glass of water to basically breathe? They are mine, I am not lying. The real estate agent was more aghast. He was more thrown aback, even than the landlord. Yeah. Spoke about how it is that he thought my paintings were mine, and the real estate agent did not only go The real estate agent was not only go passaging or in the open plan general area, but because he's a real estate agent, he had to go in the bedrooms too, bathrooms and what have you, and he got to see all of them. It's like he was at an art gallery. There is this one Lion of the Tribe of Judah artwork painting piece that I did with some metal plate that I bought with a lion that looked like the size of a lion. I think I got it from a nursery. Like I went to a nursery where they sell plants, and they were selling these like goldsmith crafted metal pieces, like plates of different animals, and I bought one that was a lion because I wanted it to represent the Lion of the Tribe of Judah. And then there was this one carpet from Mr. Price. I bought that carpet from Mr. Price home, right? And I unfortunately, look at Karabo go, mistakenly poured bleach on it one time when I was doing whatever, and the paint on it, it was a reddish maroonish carpet with brown undertones, and when I poured the bleach on it, it stained it. It like lifted the color, and so it was ruined. I could not use it anymore. I rolled up that carpet and put it on the side for a minute, and then because I was lonely and I was going through a lot and I was in pain and I had pains and I had bought that metal plate to indeed represent, do you see that metal lion that I bought? It was at some point hanging like as on a wall, right? It was like it was nailed into a wall as a feature. It was just like it was just a decorative feature on its own like that. And for me, it was representing the Lion of the Tribe of Judah, Jesus. Okay, yeah. But then one day when I was just like seriously broken, and it was nighttime, and I was undergoing so much spiritual war. It was so dark, like just like looming clouds over me. I did not know what in the world was going on. I had at that stage already painted my first artwork from Builder's Warehouse. I bought the canvas, I bought the paints. I painted a picture of myself. It disappeared. My mom threw it away. Stuff happened, okay, in my life, but I lost it, all right? That was my first ever thing, and it was there in the corner. I still had the paints and everything that were left over. The carpet was like stashed because it was ruined. I could no longer use it because it had bleach on it. And in the carpet Lesaga, it was like woven. You know those? It looked like Lesaga. It looked like you know those I don't even know how to describe it, man. Like fiber thingy. You could see it's almost like it was woven, like by hand. That carpet, it was just very rustic. It had an old school feel to it, very vintage. It was cute until it got bleached. That carpet was chilling in the wardrobe. I was going through a lot. I looked at that Lion of the Tribe of Judah. I looked at that lion just hanging on my wall, and then the paints that was just chilling at the bottom of my canvas stand that I had painted myself on. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I don't know what to do to myself. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm in pain. I'm in too much pain. I'm in too much pain. I don't know. I also didn't have a TV because I deliberately didn't buy one because, you know, I was a Christian, and after getting saved, I just stopped watching all entertainment altogether. So when I bought furniture, I didn't find a need to buy a TV because I was already not watching it at my mom's house. I was always just watching YouTube videos. So I had nothing to pass time. And I just sat there. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was just dying. slowly but surely I was dying inside. So I grabbed the carpet, I grabbed my paints. There were greens, there were browns, there were yellows, there were basically earth colors, okay? And this carpet was all ruined on the one side, but the back side of the carpet was just brown. It was plain. There was nothing on them. I used the side of the carpet that was... I actually have a piece of that carpet. I am going to show it to you because I cut it up. I bet you imagined me a fipster. I am not telling a lie. I am of truth on this day. This is the carpet. The ruined carpet. It's all cut up. Your naked that I bought from Mr. Price, you see that? Like it looks like it's woven. Now you get my point, right? There's the maroon colors. It's got all these prints on it. This is like I cut it up, cascada and everything. The part of the carpet that I did an artwork on is chilling in storage somewhere, but this is the corner of it. It was underneath my lounge, my dining room table in my apartment, and now it's all raggedy. I'm very artistic, so this little fiber fabric, I'm using it to decorate a corner of a mirror back there. A type establishment thing. So this is the carpet, Yoko Mr. Price, and it was the back side of it that I used to paint something on. And the artwork is somewhere over the rainbow. I'm kidding, no, it got my uncle's place. It's just chilling somewhere very far away. There are photos of it in my ministry, because I have recorded it on its own, but also I've recorded myself with it in the background. It's just this beautiful artwork. It's just wonderful artwork. It's just gonna melt your heart, okay? Yeah, type establishment thing. I used this broken, tattered, devastated carpet to make a very beautiful gospel art piece. I used it to make a very beautiful gospel art piece using that lion in the center. Y'all, it looks like like the kind of stuff that would cause people to go get it at an entry hall in a quite a large house, but also in a quaint establishment, like a nice little small house. Something that you can just like walk right by on the wall, and it's just like, whoa, tell me about this piece. Somebody, do explain it. What contours, nuances. Give me explanation. I want to know it. I'll take it for $25,000. I'm kidding. Maybe not. Anyway, I made an artwork out of this carpet, but the back of it painted on it. Type establishment. I'm so impressed. Super. Again, I need to pay. Why is my bladder doing this to me? I don't understand it. Anyway, whatever now. I'll use the luges now. But that whole thing, I went and I grabbed the metal plate. I painted the carpet with all the paints that I had left in whichever direction I would, creating like an earthy background. And I like cut into the carpet way that, you know, how it is that Lion of the Tribe of Judah lion. Yeah, it was a wall feature that you could hang. So I, instead of hanging it on the wall, I hung it on the carpet, so it like had holes in the center, and it was just standing there in the center, on the side. So it was there, like, yeah, in a bit of an angle. And I used the pegs, right? Pegs, as in to hang clothes with, the wooden ones, the old school pegs, the wooden ones, not the plastic ones. I broke them up, those wooden pegs, and I spelled with those pegs, Lion of the tribe of, and underneath Judah. Got the pegs, got the wood of the pegs, and I painted over them with a silver metallic type color, and I just put it on my wall. And when I was done, I was like, whew. It was so pretty, it was so beautiful, it was so regal, it was so regal, it was queenly, it was the stuff of heaven. It was my artwork, and it still exists. It got my uncle's storage. It's still there. That one I still have. That is not gone. There are art pieces of mine that are nowhere to be found, because when my mom put my stuff with hers in storage, some of the things she saw it fit to throw away because she didn't think they were of any value. But that which I had any control over, of course I kept. So it still exists. When I was at Naturina, it was hanging on the wall in the bedroom where I slept. I made that artwork. I never would have done anything like that if I wasn't thrown into what is going on with this obscurity. I need to pee. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, and relieved. And hopefully I'm not going to need to use the loo until forever. Pretty much I'm done. Because I think I've drunk all of my water for the day. And I've also released all of it. Sorry for that overshare. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I made that art piece. And if it was not for this sorrow, if it was not for the pain that I was in, I would not have innovated like that to overcome and to overwhelm. And I would not have gone out of my way to just create little artworks. I would not have bought paint and canvas, paints and a canvas stand if I wasn't in pain, if I was not just sitting around at home gathering dust, essentially dormant skills, dormant talents, dormant gifts reared in me. They roared. They surfaced because of trauma, because of persecution, because of unreasonableness. It is written in God's word that we are to work by the sweat of our brow. If anybody does not want to work, let them not eat. The Lord never intended for us, unless of course we're incapacitated for whatever reason, accident, disability. He never intended for us to sit around doing nothing. Even the whole principle or concept of retirement is ridiculous, because there is no one in the Bible that retired at 65. If you could still work, you worked. The only time David stopped striving and working by the sweat of his brow is when he was bedridden. Similarly too with Solomon. Did Solomon ever get bedridden? I stand corrected, but basically, Abraham, think about Abraham, men and women of God worked until they just couldn't anymore. Do you understand? Yeah, so it is frankly abominable that anybody would force a person into sitting and doing nothing, gathering dust. And it is also abominable that anybody would ever desire to sit and do nothing. In the Acts of the Apostle, it is written, if anybody does not want to work, let them not eat. So the Lord gave me an ability to work in spite of not being able to work according to the structures of the earth, the systems of the world that out here award you money and everything. People retired me at the age of 29, and I made a job. I found work for myself. I created busyness. I did not become a busybody out here just rolling around in the streets gossiping. I entered into crafts of sorts and struggled to monetize them because you happened. But I'm still working. You happened, you see. The inability for me to liquidate my hard work is on you. In the millennial reign of Jesus Christ, it is written that no longer will a person plant a vineyard and not enjoy of its fruit, because it is unjust for a person to not eat when they work. So you there sitting at YouTube, taking away my advanced features, hoping to make me quit? I'm Christian, baby girl. And I operate under principles of a holy God that I fear. And he told me, work by the sweat of your brow. Whatever you do, whether you eat, whether you drink, do it all for the glory of God. And if anybody does not want to work, let them not eat. And it is so dire when a person is sitting around that they could actually pass away because they're just sitting around. The reason why people try anything at all when they can't do that which they want to do is because it is not in our nature to just blob around, to merely exist. And that's why laziness is so frowned upon in society. Anybody that is out here just blobbing around, merely existing, ought not participate in anything else of leisure that the rest of us are doing, because their whole lives are leisurely, but they don't deserve to eat. They should be emaciated. They should be ostracized, for they have absconded from being human. To therefore try to make lazy people out of your society's people is to literally grab a hammer like you are Thor and whammy your country. You are whammying your own nation's economy. You are shooting yourself in the foot. You are cutting off your nose to spite your entire face. That is what you're doing. When you insist out of nothing but jealousy that people don't work and so therefore earn their keep, make a living. Because when they do make a living, you are jealous of their artistic flair. You are jealous of how much money they are making. You are jealous of how skilled they are at what they're doing. On that day, you are killing your country. And if at all you kill your country, where in the world are you going to hang your coat, oh idiot? Where are you going to hang your coat? Where are you going to sit and stand? South Africa, you are a disaster zone. Just gawking at oneself. A disaster zone. The level of envy among especially black people is ridiculous. You don't want black people to work. We are in Africa. You did recognize that, right? You literally do know that we are in Africa, the lowermost nation in Africa. And Africa is, especially the southern parts of Africa, they're black. Southern Africa is black. And we are in the most southern of the most south of African countries. So much so that we're called South Africa. So it don't get no more black. When you go up there, it starts to become Arabic. You know, Egypt, when you start to slap not Cameroon. I'm trying to remember that nation, man, that was dealt that horrific earthquake blow some months ago. They are Arabic up tops there, right? But then when you come down, we start to become blacker and blacker and blacker. Morocco, not Cameroon. Cameroon is black. Morocco is largely is Arabic. You get my point? Yeah. Okay, listen. Given that you're in the most southern part of Africa and we are all black, when then in South Africa you despise the prosperity of black people, it would be like a Moroccan despising this prosperity of Arabic people. Forget about Morocco then. It would be like Iranian people despising Arabic people. Forget about Iran. It would be like Colombians despising Latina people. Forget about the whole country. Like, yes, while there might be black people in Colombia, and while there might be black people in Brazil, while there might be black people in, let's say, France, you can't, as Frenchmen, despise the prosperity of white people. Because, okay, perhaps maybe the 2 or 3 black people in France can carry you, seeing as they're not so defeatist against each other, but when the majority demographic in a country hates the prosperity of its individual unique contributors, I'm sorry, France is not going to live when white people in France hate the prosperity of white people. There very simply are not enough Indians in France to keep France afloat. There aren't enough blacks in France to keep France afloat. There aren't enough blacks in Colombia to keep Colombia afloat. So therefore, when the dominant demographic in a country is self-loathing, that country is done for. That's why Haiti is passing away so hastily. When you can't stand the prosperity of your fellow man, and that fellow man just so happens to make up the majority demographic in that country, you're done for. And black folk, your defeatism against each other, the hatred of one another's success. Maybe you could get away with that in America. You could potentially get away with that in Argentina. Maybe in Brazil, France, even Cameroon. You could get away with it in Australia. To be what nonsense you are in South Africa, there. Because everybody else will carry you. There are enough other people to make sure that your crazy thing is subsidized. It's covered, like in insurance. Hey, the few people that claim are subsidized by the millions of policy payers, of policy holders that don't claim. So the indiscretion of crazy few people can be, like I said, covered by those majority people who are doing a better thing. Black folk in Africa. When you are defeatist against other black folk, in Southern Africa in particular, in southern parts of Africa, you're killing your countries. It is no wonder Africa is so poor. It's because there's just a thing about black people everywhere we are. Not just in Africa, you are generally defeatist. You don't want each other's prosperity, but hey, America can deal with black defeatism because it's not majority black. So too can Australia deal with crazy black people. They can buffer the blow. There's a shock absorber called the rest of the Australian population, but there is no shock absorber to Southern Africa of black defeatism. It literally, it doesn't exist. We are the demographic. We make up 60, 70, 80% of the population. And so therefore, when you are defeatist as a black person in a black country, it is no wonder you stay so freaking third world. What is with this Matlakala woman at YouTube out here blocking a black content creator in South Africa from doing a thing? You've taken away my advanced features. It was bad enough. I'm already so violently shadow banned. It's bad enough, okay, baby girl. But then you go back and you do something you already did last week. I mean, y'all already come from an era of taking away my advanced features where people can't click on my links, and now you've done it again. And you are so silo mentalityed. You are so individual, like you're just thinking like within your own little tiny bubble. That's you. You're thinking about no one but yourself. But honey, like I said earlier, where are you going to hang your coat? I like to compare you guys to Zoom. If you've seen The Flash on Netflix, I liked The Flash. There is this in season, I believe, 2 or 1. Could be 2, maybe 1, I don't know. There is this arch villain, the super villain, main villain guy by the name of Zoom, and he's at loggerheads with Barry Allen, the Flash. And his whole prerogative, I think it's season 2, is to basically destroy the multiverse. The multiverse, except for Earth 1. But he wants to kill Barry Allen in Earth 1 so he can be the only person super fast in Earth 1. I think it's season 2, I stand corrected. But if you follow The Flash on Netflix, you will know where Zoom finds himself in the grander scheme of things. Zoom says this one statement one time, and I keep repeating myself, and I've used this analogy before because God keeps raising it time and time again to tell me just the defeatism of black people being similar to the crazy of Zoom. Zoom, with his determination to destroy the multiverse, however, keeping only Earth 1, what is his rationale around maintaining Earth 1 instead of just obliterating a scorched earth policy across all multiverses? Just basically annihilate all Earths. Why does he keep Earth 1? You know what he says? It's quite funny, but it's not really. It's actually quite ghoulish to think about it. He's like, I after all gotta have somewhere to hang my coat. Zoom. He says to Barry Allen, when Barry is like, why are you destroying the multiverse? He then speaks about how it is that he can't stand people, wada. His rationale is kind of crazy. And then he says that, but I have to keep Earth 1, but you gotta die. Because after all, I have to have somewhere to hang my coat. So he's not suicidal. He's not a murder-suicider. Like I said, it's not a scorched earth policy. It's not about complete destruction. It's about destroy everything except where I'm gonna stay. You don't even have the reason or the rationale of Zoom. Zoom, with his multiverse destruction policy, insists on maintaining Earth 1, however, with the eradication of Barry Allen so that he can have somewhere to live. God calls you guys Zoom. You're unreasonable. You are destroying all over the show and are naive enough to imagine that, however, after you have destroyed all the multiverse, you're gonna have somewhere to hang your coat. You're going to have somewhere to hang your coat. You cannot decimate individual, unique South African lives. As a South African, you idiot. and expect to have somewhere to keep hanging your coat tomorrow. Because this stuff operates on a multiplier, okay? You are not the only person bewitching 20 people on the left and on the right. It is a trend. This dynamic of yours, of ransacking individuals, is ransacking many individuals on a multiplier. You are exponentially beefy. There is a mushroom cloud of you who are afflicting people on the left and on the right of you, and that stuff adds up. So you are basically destroying South Africans. You are keeping South Africans out of gainful employment, and you are making it impossible for them to monetize even when they are not in systematic employment, like within corporate South Africa. You are ascertaining that they can't start businesses, seeing as they, hit brick walls when they apply with recruitment agencies. They can't enter into corporates, so they try to sell Makipkipi, and then you bewitch that business. However, you want to be able to sell Makipkipi. You want to be able to sell paintings. You want to be able to start a YouTube channel, bake a cheesecake, and get 500,000 views. And so therefore gain ad revenue. The ad revenue of which you're going to spend at Woolworths, you're going to spend on your children's school fees in a South African school. You are going to spend paying for taxi fare in South African transporting systems. You are going to invest it in a holiday, go Cape Town, and so therefore inject the South African tourism industry. You are going to spend that money on our gross domestic product. Whether or not you made it from American platforms like YouTube. So, Pampuno ena ya matlakala, eduting go YouTube, that took away my advanced features. It was bad enough, honey, that I can't liquidate all of this talent. But you then just make the situation even worse than what it already was. However, retracting to a place where you already come from, hoping to do what? Exactly. Because there is already a skills exodus in the country. There is already a problem with gender-based violence in the country. And so therefore, when there is a problem with gender-based violence in the country, given that you are a woman, you ought to recognize the importance of female economic empowerment, that they might be strong enough to flee bad men. It's one of the ways in which we can conquer this epidemic of GBV. If you are super strong and enabled to help yourself along, it significantly reduces the chances of you passing away at the hands of a merciless baboon of a man. So you are helping a frail conglomerate of misogynistic baboons to proliferate their crazy agenda in their silo mentality. As a woman, shame on you. Shame on you. You ritualist, you, oh shame on you. You are killing South Africa. Understand that the level of envy that is slapping me is not only slapping me, it's slapping 20 other people. If at all you sitting at YouTube, like proper, you are an employee of YouTube in a South African branch of sorts. God forbid, should you meet any content creator you envy, given that you work for YouTube, Matlagala, because that's your name now, honey, run with it, take it, wear it. It's your brand. Put it on a cap and sport it. You work for YouTube, so you likely go to YouTube events, right? Events of which sometimes invite content creators. Potentially, given that you have an administrative role, you probably send emails to content creators to invite them to events. So when then they RSVP, they probably RSVP with you. God forbid. I mean, you've already displayed that you can sabotage a content creator's career. You've already shown it with me. I mean, I might be nowhere. I might be doing nothing. But like you are a saboteur of my particular life as a bully, because I am an unseen and an unsung, therefore, content creator, because I'm yet to monetize. I'm really very small and I'm afflicted. But this behavior of yours already evidences that you have it in you to sabotage anybody else based on the set of reasons with which you chose to sabotage me. You're inspired. We all know that that's true by nothing but, listen to this, envy. Mamel. The dream that I got about you, the Lord showed me you saying, Let me speak English. Let me convert that to English because it is imperative that people understand English. This thing that I'm saying rather in English. This woman's rationale behind why she closed my accounts again, behind the snatching away of my advanced features, was that I am going to, if I get my own based on content that I uploaded recently, I'm going to be arrogant. I'm going to basically think I'm all that in a bag of potato chips. I mean, you do know that we're living in the last days, right? 2 Timothy 3. According to 2 Timothy 3, this is the moral turpitude described of the human race. They are lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents. I just wanted to get first to lovers of self and lovers of money. Those first two. Let's hone in on those. Those first two categories of lovers of self and lovers of money in 2 Timothy 3 say that in the last days there's going to be a general epidemic of moral turpitude on the ground that's going to intensify self-adoration, so essentially narcissism, and a hedonistic society, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, using, of course, money to purchase that pleasure. And if at all a society is hugely influenced in this facet, in this way, it says that those platforms that can encourage people to be like this, to be selfie lovers, to be wake up like this, are the ones on which you will find the proliferation of this epidemic of moral turpitude, of lovers of self and lovers of money. So essentially, long story short, what I'm trying to say here is that this equates to the fact that most content creators are quite frankly arrogant. Most content creators are quite frankly narcissistic. Most content creators are quite frankly self-adoring, always out here gawking at a mirror. They do what they do, switching on cameras, because they want you to see them. They are lovers of themselves, lovers of money. So if, Sister Girl Matlakala, you could make a decision to decimate my YouTube channel because I might just end up loving myself and loving money, because that's what Hlongwane is. You are a freaking ticking time bomb on content creators at all. You have displayed with your moral flaw of despising people who like themselves, who experiment with fake makeup, and who edit videos for hours so people can consider them aesthetically appealing to look at. You have displayed that you are untrustworthy to work for a company that is proliferating the agenda of people like those. You are basically a freaking ticking time bomb to work for YouTube. You cannot work for a social media company when you don't like people abasbona, your sisters. Because on that day, your little twitching finger, your little itching finger is going to ban any content creator that you just feel like, aha, nzogbonisa, I will show you flames. You don't know what job I've got to me. But you see, that's just the thing, baby. You are in an administrative job.